I'm willing to bet that the most important bill that you're not paying isn't what you think it is. Does this sound familiar to you? You go to work for your money, then you immediately give it to everybody else, like your landlord, insurance company, Netflix, whoever. But you're always the last one that gets paid if there's anything left over. But this is your life, and the most important bill isn't the one to some mega company, it's to your company. So hang out with me for a bit, and I'm going to show you how to start putting yourself first when it comes to your money using a simple method that helped me completely rethink the way that I treat my income. And that way you can enjoy the here and now while also making sure that your future self is taken care of. Think for a moment about how much time you spend at work to pay all of your bills. Maybe 10 hours a week goes to the government, another 5 hours to your fuel cost, 2 hours to streaming services, and so on. You get the idea. Now ask yourself, how many of those hours are you setting aside for you? And I don't mean to go and eat out or go to the movies. I mean setting aside money that's going to help you out in the future, money that might get you out of a serious bind or help you do something that makes you happy, or best of all, help you kick back and retire one day. I'm not sure about you, but the thought of working into my 60s and 70s is absolutely terrifying. I truly struggled with money for many years, and now I think the best way that you can go about this is to try and pretend that you own a company, whether you actually have one or not. And this company has non-negotiable bills that are due every month, just like all the other ones. And this isn't an original idea to me, but it's a concept that really helped me out a ton. Imagine that the company is called You Incorporated. In other words, Your Name Incorporated. And that company has 3 major financial departments: retirement, emergency, and savings. Now you can add as many departments as you want, but for simplicity and to not make this too boring, we're just going to cover the 3 major ones here today. And in my opinion, these are critical if you want to build a true nest egg to weather storms and make your future as comfortable as possible. And I think they're far more important than any subscription service that you could ever pay for. Let's start with arguably the most important, the retirement department. I ignored thinking about retirement for a long time because honestly, it's boring and it sounded like something only for old people to care about. But I swear to you, if I could go back to my very first job, the first thing that I would do is at least start throwing $20 a month into a retirement account, whatever I could spare, and I would make it a priority. Okay, cool, Ian, I've heard that before, but why? Because the only other major tool besides money that can help a retirement account grow is time, and we're losing more of it every day. You know that we can always make more money, but we can't get more time. And the longer that you wait to start letting that money compound in the market, the smaller of a return you're going to get on it when you finally need it. Think about it this way. A turkey takes a long time to cook, but it's not going to start until you actually throw it in the oven. Now, the first thing you want to do is take advantage of any pre-tax retirement accounts that your job might offer. And next, you want to check if that company has an employer match, even if it's $50 a month, maybe 1% of your pay. Just try it for a month or so and see how it feels. And if you notice that you're able to do more and it's doable, you can try to scale it up a little bit. Or if it's too much and you want to back off a little, it's typically super easy to adjust online with just a few clicks. And the best part about this is it's automatic. You just set it and forget it. And by the time you get your paycheck, the bill to your retirement account or your retirement department has already been paid. And that allows you to focus on everything else while it just grows in the background. I'm not an investing expert, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what funds to invest in, but the point is to just start and automate it, and then you can dial in the little details later on. Now, this next point is something that really had a major impact on me, and that is the emergency fund department of You Incorporated. Many years ago, a supervisor of mine once told me something I'll never forget, and I'm not kidding when I tell you that it's something very simple, but it really changed my life. He said, when you have an emergency fund, emergencies just become inconveniences. And I can't begin to tell you how many times that's allowed me to relax and focus during stressful situations that required quick access to money. How true that is. Unexpected things happen all the time. You know that. And you just never know when you're going to have a bad day and need some cash. Maybe your car needs a tow. The heat stops working in your house. And actually, that happened to me. The day that I moved into this house, as soon as I signed all the paperwork and came over, the furnace died. So you never know when something like that's going to happen. Or maybe you need a last minute flight to go see a loved one. You get laid off. The possibilities are endless. I can remember many years ago having a cracked windshield on my car, and the $250 it was going to cost to have it repaired felt earth-shattering because I always spent my money as soon as I earned it. But if you can start paying $50, $100, $200 a month toward the emergency fund bill at You Incorporated, you would be really surprised how much of a difference that would make when dealing with annoying, unexpected, unpleasant expenses. And lastly, to put a little bow on the emergency department, people will often tell you, well, hey man, you have to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. And I think that's a great goal to have, but honestly, that can feel pretty overwhelming, especially if you're just getting started and money is tight. So just like all the other departments, the fact that you just get started is way more important than the amount that you put in. And just remember, with this account, it's strictly for bumps in the road. I know that Taylor Swift tickets might seem like an emergency, but they're not. That's what the next fund is for. By the way, if you're getting value out of this, it would mean the world to me if you could give that like button a little tickle and drop a comment down below letting me know how I can better help you out. And that brings us to the last one, the savings department of You Incorporated. Out of all three, this one is really the most straightforward because once you have your retirement and your emergency fund both running on autopilot, you can start saving for things that you actually want, like a house payment or a new car, paying off debt faster. And to be honest, it doesn't even need to be for a specific goal that you already have in mind. It can simply be a surplus of money for what you need when you need it. And seriously, this is really the most important part of a savings account. It's that it slowly puts a buffer between you and that scenario where you're living paycheck to paycheck. And like the other departments of You Incorporated, you can make this bill automatic and have a set amount of money go in every month. And the amount you pay towards your savings is up to you, but I suggest applying the same philosophy here as with the other funds. If you notice that you're comfortable and not straining, maybe consider adding just a little bit more, because again, you can always dial it back a little bit, but building the habit, that's what's key. Okay, so here's what to do this week. Number 1, set up a retirement account through work or elsewhere if you don't already have one, and start putting even $20 a month into it. And if they offer an employer match, definitely take it. And what's cool is this fund, it's always going to come out automatically. So it's really, really easy. Number 2, open a savings account for strictly emergencies. And you can do this in 3 minutes on your banking app. Number 3, add one more savings account for long or short-term goals. And lastly, number 4, go into your bank app and set automatic payments for all of these accounts. If you have to think about it every payday, you're going to be less likely to actually follow through on this consistently. The reality is, you and I, we've got to go to work and we have bills that we have to pay. We spend all of this time commuting and being away from our families and trying to pretend like the workplace pizza party twice a year somehow makes up for it. We ought to have a few hours of those wages each week go directly to us for several reasons. To not have to rely on desperation when bad things happen, or to not depend on working into our 70s because we have no other choice, or to live without that one item that brings you happiness because you were never able to set money aside for it. At the end of the day, no one can take care of these things but you. But by following the You Incorporated framework, you're going to be in a far more secure and safe position if you start making paying yourself a priority. And speaking of savings, if you keep cutting back on all of your expenses, but afterwards feel like you don't have any extra money, then you're going to want to check out this video right over here where I explain why. I'll see you over there.